I didn't realize I didn't have a 6R80 disassembly video. I already took the pan and the pump bolts out. Pan bolts are 8 millimeters. Pump bolts are 10 millimeters. And push in on this tab, pull up. You can disconnect your pass-through connector. .30 torques on the valve body bolt. The solenoid strategy number is up here. It's very important. You need to write that down or take a picture of it. The bolts that you need to take off are a little bit larger on the head, and they're a little bit difficult to tell which ones they are, but the rest of the bolts on here are 27 torques, so your 30 is not going to fit in there. Usually on the back side here, these rubber seals stick to your valve body. They come out of here. You go ahead and pull these out. It's your thermal valve. Your seal for your valve body to your pump. Pay attention to how this spring is in here. Notice that it has these little legs on it. This goes up inside and then this pops in on the other leg. Once you get that, you can get in here between your drum and your case, and you can push your pump out. Usually, what would be most difficult today go. Turn this around here. It's a shim on the back of your pump here. All your bushings are going to be wore out. These here, sometimes there's one out here on the end, but if there is one here, you need to replace it. This one here, every single rebuild has got to be replaced. The rest of them are kind of up to you. I replace the bushings on every one. Like I say, it's never going to work right if you don't replace that one. .30 torques, I don't know. Said that. Now usually what I do is I just leave the pump halves together. Just take the pump body with the gears off. I usually hand wash this. I'm going to take it all the way apart, show you what it looks like. Get you a little punch and get in here. always mark my pump gears even though they have marks on them. Some of them do. Like this one. The ID mark is up. And the ID mark is up on this one also. I mark them the way they were. And then I make sure that they're the way that they are supposed to be. Now, in order to get the rest of it apart, the stator's got to come out. Like I say, I usually just leave it together. Alright, it's wanting to be a pain because we're on camera, so I'm going to go press it out. Usually it just pops out. Got our stator out. I've never seen one ring cut yet, but always check it for ring cut. And this is all that's in there. Out. Find the opening of your drum, which is right here. Go 180 degrees off of that. Get your screwdriver in here and just pop that snap ring up. Got a bearing here. Our hub. Like I said, bushings are always wore out. I don't even look at them anymore. I just replace them. Another bearing there. This bearing. Make sure our hub's okay. This bearing. You want to check your drum here. There's another bearing here. I'm going to check your drum right in here. Air check it, make sure no air comes out, no bubbles. Alright, we're good. Take the drum apart in a minute. Now on your clutches in here, on your piston in here, in order to get it out, make sure your cushion plate ain't broke. In order to get this out, in beside the pinions on your planet, there's a little area that you're going to have to push in a snap ring, and you're going to have to do it all by feel, and it's a pain. Once you get it started, it gets much easier. So what you got to do, like right there, it started coming up, so just hold it up and then keep working around. Alright, pop back in on me. So let's start again. There we go. Come on, don't go back in on me. There we go. So what you're doing is you're pushing this snap ring off of these little feet right here. So just leave this together. gonna fall out on me. I'll zip tie this together so it stays together. Just check your pinions and make sure that they're okay. I got these zip ties I've been using forever. Same ones I use for my Hondas. Alright, so before I take this drum apart, I mark these legs because they have to line up. So I just mark where they are. It just makes it quicker when you're trying to go back together. Like I said, the bushings are all going to be wore out. Every single one of them. Make sure your cushion plate's okay. Now this is where the fun comes in. You got the snap ring that's supposed to be over at the 3 o'clock position. I go ahead and mark it so I don't forget. But getting this thing out of here is a pain because the snap ring pliers that you use for 6L80s and stuff just didn't quite get in there. At least mine don't. They're kind of in the way. This little deal right here gets in the way. But still, every once in a while I can get them out. Usually what I end up doing is working it around to where there's a cutout in the case like this over here. And I get it to where it's up there and kind of dig it out. It's still a pain. I should have made the snap ring stick out just a little bit more. Kind of watch your face. Don't want it flying out, hitting you in the face. And it's got a taper to it. Taper goes up. And your center support will come out. Got to kind of pull it out even. You got these lugs that fit in here. They're going to fall out, so just go ahead and take them out. You got shim. Go ahead and pull our sprag out. Early models had a sprag, late models don't. Make sure your one-way sprag is okay. I hand wash these. Alright, you got your shim, this bearing, sun gear, another bearing, another sun gear. The taper goes up, the recess, short recess goes up, big recess goes down towards the back. And you got another bearing, and then you got a race. Cushion plate, make sure it's okay. Now, I've never seen any of the planets or anything bad yet, but I'm sure that will come down the road. Go ahead and check them. Make sure everything's okay. There's a bearing on the back. I just leave it on there. There's a bearing in here. And the case is empty now. You go ahead and take these drums apart. So our piston, bevel spring, our balance piston. drum here, we need a pair of snap ring pliers like this. Balance piston, bevel plate, regular piston. Alright, balance piston, bevel plate, regular piston. Got that bearing. Cushion plate's okay. Now we got two pistons here. We got one on this side and we got one on this side. Alright. Come on now. Got a lineup tab right here. So we got our retainer, our bevel spring, and our piston. And our other piston. Bevel spring and retainer. So on our solenoids, we got a couple things we need to pay attention to. When you take your valve body plate, you're going to destroy your separator plate. Right here on the side, there's a number stamped. It's E510F. That's what Transtar and WIT are going to want. If you're going to order it from the dealership, they're going to want that Ford number, AL3P-7Z490-BA for this one. Guarantee you're going to destroy it trying to get it apart. So just go ahead and order your plate. I would put a zip kit in these from Sonax. And if you're going to replace your solenoids, there's that stamped code on here. You probably have to have a magnifying glass to see it. They're just like all the others, stamped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what the flow rate of is of the solenoid. The only one that's not got a stamp on it is your pressure solenoid right here. It doesn't matter. But all the rest of these are going to matter. If you're going to replace it, you're going to have to know what the flow rate is. Alright, let me go write this up and get the converter code off of it. That's another thing that's very difficult to get, so let's see if I can get it out there. I might bring it in here, show it to you. Alright. Another thing you have to have a magnifying glass for. And even with a magnifying glass, it is extremely hard to find it. But when you look at this thing, you're going to see all these little dots. Down inside those little dots, usually right in here, somewhere on here, there's going to be a code, and you're going to need that code for the get the right torque converter. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Usually I don't. There's a fair amount of rust on these pads, so odds are it's gone. I'll look some more later. But also on these solenoids right here, see if I can get some letter or numbers off of them. First one's a 3, second one's a 4, third one's a 3, fourth one's a 4, that one's a 4, that one's a 3. So if I needed to order them, that's what I would need to order. Now there's also going to be black and brown. This one's brown, that's black, that's brown, that's black, black, and brown. Alright, so these are usually pretty straightforward. LS kit, filter, bushing kit, zip kit, separator plate. Mine's an E510F, and then the torque converter. Usually what's happened on these is, let's see what their complaint was. Won't shift past second, shift solenoid E electrical, and intermediate shift solenoid. So we're going to look those up. Probably going to need a conductor plate, which on the early ones does not have the computer on it. So we can buy just the conductor plate. That's probably what the problem is, not the solenoids themselves. So we're going to go ahead and put conductor plate on here also. And then get our converter code if I can find it eventually.